Okay,
Okay.
so tell me, who are you and how can I help?
Okay. Like you can see my name is Kumar
Mm-hmm.
Ravish,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a working professional. I joined this platform just to brush up my conversational skills.
Mm-hmm.
And apart from that, I'm also a content creator.
Okay.
So, yeah, what I do is I upload certain videos related to English content.
Okay.
And yeah, that's what I do.
Fantastic. I mean, you got an excellent accent, and I like the way you compose yourself before you say. And it's good. It's very good, actually. It's
Thank
been a
you.
while since I've had. Yeah. Uh-huh. So where are you originally from? Are you based in India? I know I haven't really introduced myself. I know that, but I'll be getting to that point for sure. But tell me, at what part are you staying right now? If you are from India, or are you?
Of course, I live in Noida right now,
Okay.
and I work for a company which is into US IT staffing. Um,
Okay. Hmm.
so, yeah, it's been a while now. I think it's been around 10 years, even a little
Around
more
20
than
years.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I
Experience, huh?
checked out a couple of videos of yours on YouTube. I thought, let's connect to Amal Mohan. And
Okay.
I had a word with the other day. I was having a word with one of probably a guy, probably on this application. I especially asked him to get me connected, with Amal, just in case if that is possible.
Hmm.
So luckily, he said, "Okay, let's get connected. I've got his schedule, so we'll have
Okay.
this session booked for you." I said, "Okay."
Hmm.
So now, yeah, here I am. Since we're meeting for the first time, why don't you tell me more about
Oh yeah.
yourself?
First of all, thank you so much for specifically asking out and reaching out to me. I had no idea because it did not let me know it was somebody who specifically asked for me. Anyway, as you can already see my name right there, my name is Amal. I'm actually a medical doctor, so it's Dr. Amal Mohan. And I'm originally from the southern side of India. I'm speaking to you from the city of Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. Right? So that's a little bit about me. Other than that, I'm a little bit of an entrepreneur, a little bit of a movie maker. I would say more of a scriptwriter, playwright, or director, a little bit of an actor, and I do a little bit of career counseling, a little bit of a corporate trainer. I can say that. I hope I can say that. I'm like a senior academic counselor, one of the ed corps out there. It's pretty famous. So yeah, that's a bit about me. I don't want to spread it big, but still, I do quite a few things because I truly like doing what I do. And one thing I just want to stick to is teaching because I rather consider myself as a student all the time. So the more you learn, the more you get to teach, and that's the reason why I contribute an hour to Englishary every single day. Yep, that's a bit
So
about
can I
me.
ask you, since you said like
Sure.
you're a doctor, right? What is your
Hmm.
specialization? What field are you a doctor in?
Hmm. Okay, so good question. Great question, actually. How old do you think I am?
Uh, I have no clue. I can probably take a wild guess. That would be almost like probably 32,
Wow.
maybe.
Okay. So you'll have to reduce 8 years from that. I'm 24. So
24. Okay.
yeah,
All
yeah, I'm
right.
24. So there is no way I mean, there are people who are getting into residency by the age of 22, 23, but I'm 24 and I just completed my degree, that my PMQ, my primary medical qualification. So I haven't gone into a residency yet. But you could say I might have been mapped to one of these residencies and it could be closely associated to surgery. So you can call me a surgeon, but I'm not really a surgeon. I am just a graduate, a PMQ. I just have my PMQ, right?
Okay.
Hmm.
So, are you pursuing MBBS as well, or you're done with it, or how is that?
I just graduated, yeah. I recently
Just grad.
graduated with my,
You just
and it's not
graduated.
exactly MBBS, and I did it from a different country, and there it's called Doctor of Medicine. And I think you should be familiar with that if you're working with the US staffing. This country would that be, and where I did my graduation from, yeah.
There are countries again which provide this kind of degree.
MBA.
I'm not sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do work for. It's just that I want to let you know a bit about me in the initial phase itself because uh, over the time period, over the conversation, we will have different topics, especially because you are a veteran in your field. right? IT staffing, and that too more than 10 plus years. That means that makes you a veteran, really. And so I just want to let you know that okay, I might moonlight on different angles, uh, just just because of passion, pure passion, and that's the very reason I'm an English area as well. But may I ask you one thing specific? Why did you ask for me? What was the reason for specifically asking me to talk with?
Because, because it's a very obvious, somebody who's doctor by profession, probably he might not get enough time, to come onto such kind of platforms where you can, you also wanted to talk to people,
Mm-hmm,
from all around the probably India, or maybe other from outside India as well. So it
mm-hmm,
requires a lot of time because 25 minutes you're giving to somebody, right? And then during the entire day, probably if
mm-hmm,
you're meeting to the people, say for example, like 4 or 5 people, you give out your how much, I mean, like 2 3 hours, right? So I have no
mm-hmm,
clue how much time you are on this platform, but I'm just taking
mm-hmm,
a wild guess.
mm-hmm.
So again, you being a doctor and then you also wanted to train people, so how do you manage all of those? So all of a sudden that clicked in my mind. I thought to check with you, what's going on. So yeah, that's the reason I checked with you.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
well justified question. I agree. So first question. Okay, well, where do I start? That was a lot of questions, huh? Okay, first thing, I don't really contribute to 3 hours. I really wish to, I really want to, but I cannot. I can only contribute 1 hour to English Yaari, and that is purely because I like teaching. And this platform, the co-founder of this company, this organization, is actually a friend of mine too. And the vision they have, right? And being an entrepreneur myself, I understand you know, how hard it's to build something up and how hard is it to sustain it that way. There was a student when he started, and I think he's just graduating from the university. So I wanted to help him. I was also a consultant for this company, this organization, in a business perspective. Right, that's something I was doing for them as well. I wanted them to really, really grow because they were trying to help English or any language. I mean, that's a thing in India and most probably the entire world. Communication and confidence goes hand in hand, right? So we were actually able to, I'm not much of an English speaker myself. I can barely get around. I can barely communicate, but still, I like to talk with different people. I've always been a people person, and so I think. And my grandmom, she's a teacher, so she's still here. So I always enjoy teaching, and I've been teaching for a very long time in different angles, not just English, a little bit of medicine and all that. And just like I said, I recently graduated. I haven't really practiced in medicine in India, at least in India yet. I've cleared my step one, so that gives me, a little scope to get into residency and preparing for my step two. Yes, it's quite tough, and also I'm preparing for my FMGE, and also I'm thinking of my business. Also, once in a while, I'm taking care of my the artistic stuff that I do. So yes, it's quite tough, but I don't do all of this together, right? I kind of have a, let's just say, a little bit of a segregated and organized structure, a schedule that where I can accommodate all of these. So that is how I do it, and that's the only way anybody can do it. So yeah, doesn't make any sense, or was it complete hoax?
So I'm certainly, I can tell you that, okay, you're doing a lot of things all together parallelly. You're writing as well. You're a writer, you're a script writer, probably you're into filmmaking, and then you're
Yeah,
yourself a doctor and talking to people. I have no clue what else you do, but whatever you do, that's incredible. I can say that. And how
I
do you
think
manage
that
all of those? Probably you are the best one to say that.
I think
So
this is a very positive. Sorry to interrupt you. I think there's a slight network delay, but clearly, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I take that on a very positive note, so thank you so much. I hope that was not
yeah,
sarcastic.
absolutely. No, it was not. It was not. Trust me. It was
Okay.
definitely not a sarcasm, but all I wanted is
Mhm,
I certainly would like to appreciate for what you're doing. And
mhm,
for a simple man, thinking of all those things, simultaneously is probably, you know, very tough. And
mhm.
at least for me, so that is why, is that was, that took me by surprises when I see like you're doing so many things all together. So let me ask you, how's your journey with English, Yadi? Because you said that you're just investing 1 hour of your daily routine. You're putting 1 hour. You're giving 1 hour to English Yari. How's your experience? You've
Mhm.
been talking to a number of people every day. So are
Yeah,
you really enjoying it, or it's just that for the
absolutely.
sake of, since your friends, your friend recommended to talk to people and get the business up or scale up the business, you wanted somebody probably to come onto this platform who can probably help him scale up his business. So are you taking that on that perspective, or are you really enjoying it? What's your take?
I enjoy both actually. Like I said, multitasking is a thing I've been doing since a very, very young age. I started working quite early. So I wouldn't say I'm too expert at it. I just try and keep on trying doing that. And one other thing is that rather than just, segregating all these ideas, all these concepts, all these things that I do, I want you to imagine, like I have a vision, and this vision has been with me since a very, very young age, probably six, seven. That time was just, fiction, but at this point, it's, getting a lot closer to reality. And I'll tell you instantly, I think it might work with, all the whole piece that we have. It's actually a franchisee of teaching hospitals across the world. That is what I'm aiming for, teaching hospitals, franchisee. So the business part, the creative part, the marketing part, the business part, everything is going to come together if you think it in that way, the medical part itself, right? So that's what I'm hoping for. And teaching it has always been a personal favorite, and I wanted to help people rather than just teach something to some people, right? I have a platform of my own, but I have reserved it for something else. But here, I get to speak to people, different people, every single day, and that is a prior reason I'm here. And the very reason I help Vikas or the entire team with their content, or maybe the ideals, or maybe the way how we can, or the strategy itself, is that how well can we reach this? How well can we make people enjoy what we intend to offer, or help them with that confidence or communication or skills, or maybe IELTS or OET or any kind of preparation which they're facing. And maybe some people want to crack their interview, but uh, they're well versed, but maybe the system that they've been, or maybe they don't really have an environment where they can speak in English. So creating that environment is what I primarily hope for. So yes, helping because is something I personally enjoy, but um, I'd rather say the reason I contribute this 1 hour for different people over here is because I enjoy teaching. I enjoy connecting with people, just like yourself.
Okay, awesome. And second question that is popping in my mind at this point in time. Like, I've spoken to a number of people from South India, right? And
Uh-huh.
they have a kind of accent. Uh,
Oh yeah.
uh, even a lot of South Indians are there in US as well. When you are
Right.
on a call, you probably find a number of people there, and they have a different accent altogether.
Hmm.
South Indian accent, so called. So I do not see in you for sure. What's the reason? What's the reason, if you'd like to tell us, or probably me?
Okay. So I'd I'd really put that blame over home box office and British broadcast and also Star movies, because I was born 1998, right? And for 90s kids or early 2000 kids, for them it's definite that they were always watching English movies from Star movies, or well, there was Cartoon Network as well for the younger ones, and of course there's HBO. HBO and Star movies was something that we always went for, which is the reason I don't have a perfect accent. I don't really have a perfect Indian accent. I don't really have a perfect American accent. I don't really have a perfect British accent or Australian. Maybe I might have somewhat of a New Zealandian accent, but not even that. So it's a mixed accent. And I blame that completely on HBO and Star Movies, because HBO is from British broadcast and that's properly British, and Star Movies is from Star Network, that's from America. So I got a blend of both. And my even before going to the US, my language was exactly the same. Maybe I got a little bit more exposure to the environment because everybody was speaking English and they had an accent. So probably because of that, but I've been always speaking like this.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
I got my answer actually. Thank you for that. Okay.
you're very welcome.
And should I ask you, like, say for beginners who wanted to improve their English,
Hmm.
what's your suggestion? What's your advice to somebody who wanted to improve their communication? If
Hmm.
you would like to tell.
Good question. So I don't usually answer this question like that because each person, from my experience, not just in teaching, from the people that I've known, um, I especially said I've known because I don't really just talk to people and I'd say I've talked to them. When I talk to them, I know them to an extent, right? Not because I'm a geek or not because I'm a mentalist or anything like that. Just you just have to spend some time to understand people. As long as you can, make eye contact and talk to them, it's pretty direct. So each person will have a different take, different approach towards English or any language at all, right? The first thing that we have to master is to be comfortable in our own skin, right? Being comfortable in our own skin is the prior thing that I was. Anybody, doesn't matter who exactly I'm speaking to, that is one thing everybody can stick to, right? Doesn't matter what level of English, or even if they don't completely understand their language, which means if they understand some kind of language, right? I mean, we have animals, we have people who cannot speak, we have people who cannot. I mean, there are tons of people, right? We don't really have, um, I don't know, a specific scenario where everybody speaks the same language. I mean, the world is very diverse, right? And we are aggressively looking for aliens now. So there's going to be another language over there as well. So
Yeah,
language is just a medium. I just want them to understand this. Language is just a medium of communication. Communication is the important part, right? So for communicating, the first thing you need to have is that kind of comfortable. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of accent you have, doesn't matter what kind of English you have. I
absolutely.
mean, you can get, yeah, you can have any kind of method. You can use anything at all. That's what we do, right? When we are actually introduced to a country. For example, during my deputation, during my clinical rotations, I was in Guatemala, Nicaragua, Belize, and all these countries, and they speak Creole, they speak Spanish, they speak in Mexico, of course, they speak Spanish, Spanish. But that Spanish is different than Spanish we get to see in Venezuela or maybe um, Spain itself, right? So I one thing I've noticed specifically is that it is all about communication. As long as you have a smile on, as long as you have this passion to tell them, hey, this is what I want to tell you, and as long as the other person who's listening to you would be like, okay, I really want to know what this person is trying to say, and we have enough mediums. We have the Google Translate and all these things right here, but language is just a medium of communication. Communication is the important part, and for communicating, we just have to be comfortable in our own skin. We have to be, and being comfortable in our own skin, that is going to give us enough confidence to communicate with any single person, anybody in this world, and nothing's going to come in between that. This is my take on this. I could be wrong and not experienced too, right? You'll find probably veterans in this platform who has been teaching for maybe 20, 21 years. You should probably ask this question to them, right? They would be able to answer this wiser than I am. Like I said, I'm a rookie here. I'm just a student. I'm trying to catch up with different people and talk to them, and it's always an exchange of knowledge. And you've taught me too. For example, I can actually tell you what I've learned from you. I like the composed nature that you have, and I like the way you're very fluent, but you don't have any rush. You might feel like I'm speaking very fast sometimes, but this is how I speak. Even when I speak Malayalam, Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, or Kannada, this is exactly how I speak. I am a very fast-paced person, right? And from my habits, from my multitasking, you should naturally know why I do that because I'm tuned into that zone. My frequency is a little high. Just kidding.
Yeah.
And another thing that uh, I think I'd like to point out that I was very comfortable speaking with you because I didn't have to really slow down because when we have other learners, is, we might have beginners, we might have intermediates. So I consciously, slow down. I consciously speak to them in such a fashion I try to bring in, right? And some people would want to know how to compose yourself, how to, attend an interview, how to impress them, the career counseling session as well. But here was a regular chit chat, and I was very comfortable. So thank you so much for meeting with me. I really, really appreciate it, and I'm so thankful that you actually had to reach out to Vikas just to meet me, and also we finally got to meet. And I'd like to talk to you again if that is something that you like. And
Absolutely.
another request I have, would you mind sharing a YouTube channel profile or channel name or something like that so that I can follow you? I do have a YouTube channel too, which you can tag if you intend.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the name is Talkology. It's
Talkology.
Talkology. Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Consider yourself having a new subscriber. It's Talkology. That's it. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Let me see. You got 1.18 subscribers. Is that you?
That,
1.18K.
that's right.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right, fantastic. I just added one more subscriber to you, and I just already,
Thank you.
yeah, placed the bell icon to all of it, and you got plenty of content. Wow, you're good. You're very good.